what do you make of this much vaunted 3% level for the 10-year yield? Is that going to be a problem for stocks?
I don't think so, unless it blows through 3% and moves significantly higher in a short period of time. I think the 3% threshold is enough to get people's attention, but by itself, I don't think it's necessarily a bad sign if it's coming about because, the economy is good, and it's a little bit of catch-up that we're seeing as well on the intermediate part of the curve. As you know, the short end has really come up since the middle of February, but the intermediate portion where the 10-year resides has lagged behind. It's nice to see, actually, it rising a little bit and creating a little bit more steepness in the yield curve, which is encouraging.
As you say, of course, it's you can't view it in isolation, right? So I want to talk about what the U.S. dollar is doing as well, because speaking of catch-up, it is finally catching up with this movement in the 10-year. If you take a look at the Bloomberg, we've got just a chart of the 10-year yield and the dollar, the Bloomberg Dollar Index. On the bottom is the correlation between the two. And in the past week or so, we have that correlation reasserting itself. So if we start to see more of a movement or a continued movement in the dollar, is that going to be a problem when you're looking at corporate profits? Because it has been a tailwind largely at such depressed levels.
Yes, it would. And again, it depends on the extent of the move. But all else being equal, it will certainly pressure the sales of companies that rely on foreign revenues. Number one, it will pressure commodity prices and thereby pressure emerging markets. On the other hand, it may tend to benefit to some extent, at least on a relative basis, more domestically oriented companies, particularly small and mid caps. So a little bit of a mixed bag in that respect. But all else being equal, I think, a stronger dollar, if it continues to move in a meaningful way, it's going to be a headwind for stocks. I don't think there's any way around that.